thank you for having me. My name is James Taylor. I'm the founder and CEO of Particular Audience. We power a lot of retail media technology for a lot of the world's leading retailers. Everything from the sponsored products to video and any content you see on an e-commerce website, extending to all of the non-paid. So all of the merchandise, non-retail media, supplier funded, all of the organic search and personalisation you'd receive as a customer anyway, and we believe that that's one ranking system, it shouldn't be multiple, ad server over here and tech over here, yeah. We've been really focused on this. 2017 I started the business and it's like, well, I want to start an AI company. Okay, well, how does that apply to retail? And it started off with the machine learning wave of recommendation systems and frequently bought together bundling solutions, the stuff that's made retail a bit more intuitive over the years. I think it's kind of supercharged at this point with, if you say, how do you define personalisation? Well, personalisation is just good prediction. And the volume of compute and the data points that you can pull in, and how customers are behaving, what their context is, to be able to change and adapt a website experience for any given customer is a really powerful thing. And so I think that's first. And then that's the UI. What about the search? Well, search has historically been this keyword search technology. It's exact token matching. It doesn't understand the difference between chocolate milk and milk chocolate. It's just finding the words. Whereas transformers, which is the T in ChatGPT and the technology that Google invented for language translation, is a lot more intuitive at interpreting a query or the intent behind a query. So I think that sort of changed it from the user experience standpoint. And then on the advertiser and the retailer standpoint, it's kind of this trifecta approach. You've got the customer, the retailer, the advertiser. Well, the retailer's getting a significant amount more automation, much more visibility and the ability to actually sort of control business KPIs and what has margin or private label or is supplier funded, etc., under one user experience. And I think from a yield and ultimate profitability, that's obviously a ginormous gain. And then from an advertiser standpoint, a lot of people talk about fragmentation as being a problem in retail media, but AI is cutting that shit out of that problem because it is enabling mass automation, standardization of ad formats and metrics, and we now have a one-click ad builder. Well, that used to be a 4 to 10 minute endeavor, but that really adds up over a high volume of campaigns, and it just means advertisers can afford to do a lot more, and then aggregate demand sources can afford to integrate with these supply side players like us and really just see a lot more standard, optimized and performant advertising run through. So I think it's really the AI is unlocking retail media to be, if you say it's already a big wave but it's concentrated on Amazon, I think the wave is going to continue to expand quite dramatically. I think we're still in the sort of discovery, or shall I say, consumer research phase of agentic shopping. We launched a sub-brand called Retail MCP March 2025, and it was all about, MCP is this technology that was created by Anthropic, the business behind Claude. It's been adopted by OpenAI and Google Gemini since, and it allows AI to speak to retailer systems, retailer APIs in an authenticated way without having to build a custom integration every time. And what that's doing is it's really speeding up the speed that an AI, which is probabilistic, can get to deterministic data like accurate inventory and accurate pricing, and even now with UCP and ACP, the ability to transact. So I think that the rails are there, the infrastructure and the foundations are there. Have you bought anything online yet through an agent?
No, I haven't. Yeah. I'm intrigued by it, but not a step I've taken yet. I have fear of giving it my bank details.
Well, actually, it's a serious thing, right? And I tested an a browser-based agent over a year ago using OpenAI. Used to have this sort of browser-based agent that you could utilize. It took about 7 minutes. Ultimately, OpenAI followed Bing. It was the first result. It tried to find me the cheapest washing machine. It got blocked by a pop-up. Went back. It's the second one on the search list. So SEO matters, obviously, still for browser-based agents. And then it ultimately, after 7 minutes, found it. And then obviously it wasn't completely automated at that stage. It then would ask me, what's your credit card number, what's your, yeah, right? And I didn't complete the transaction because I wasn't actually buying a washing machine, it was just a demo.
Yeah,
but the point was it was pretty high friction. And I think that where MCP works is it really cuts that out. And there are, just on that, it's, for retailers, why invest in MCP today? Well, it's optionality in the sense that you can interact better with these third-party AIs. You can interact or have your own on-site chatbot interact easier with your systems, but also you can save a bunch of money. If you have to load all of your images and the whole website experience every time an agent visits your site, even if they just care about the name and the price of the product, it's quite wasteful. MCP cuts that out, so there's a cost-saving benefit to it too. To come back to your question, are we agent-to-agent commerce? Well, obviously not, right? But is it growing? Absolutely. And should you invest in MCP? Yes, it's a 3-day endeavor, right? To get started. Of course you should do that. It's the greatest optionality investment you can make as a retailer today. And in retail media, well, what is controlling the rank order of items that are returned? If an AI interface is exposing 2 to 3 items, well, that's significantly less than the mobile search results that had 9 to 18, which is significantly less than the desktop experience of 24 plus infinite scroll, right? You've really got to get that ranking right about which items are in the top. If you put an irrelevant item in there, as you see in many retailer instances of a sponsored product at the top of search, the AI is not going to like that. It's not going to have any tolerance for irrelevance. So I've only been to a couple of events so far. It's early in the day. I think everyone's expecting to hear about the trade versus retail media debate. I think that there will inevitably be a mass ad tech lens on retail media. I think that will talk to how you do scale, what's connected TV, how do you do audience extension, how do you target segments of customer. And I think actually segments are a very imperfect way to target, right? And if you can get these one-to-one audiences, as actually ML and AI allows us to do today, that's what we really focus on. It's like, what are the implicit and explicit signals each individual customer can give you, and how do you augment an experience for them? I think maybe that's more of where the conversation ought to be, and perhaps that does extend as well to, is MarTech ad tech and is ad tech MarTech in this context, and maybe that's it.